All right, gang. Let's try this again. Take two. Welcome to my Facebook Live with the WGR Live. I don't know what the hell happened with that other stream. As you guys pop on, tell me if I'm clear. Tell me if you can hear me. And tell me if I'm even making sense. Let's get you on here, Claudia. Where are you at? There you are. Can you guys hear me? Say yes if you can hear me. And on a scale of 1 to 10, rank it. You can hear me clearly. 1 is you cannot hear me at all. Please write in the comments below so I can tell how good my connection is, because last one totally sucked. I really think it's her internet. Don't tell her that I said that, though. You'll hurt her feelings. Can you hear this? Claudia, can you hear me? Click that share button. My friends. Lee Barrison. Yeah, guys, I think the major... Boop, boop. Oh, well, we will wrap on without her if we have to tonight. I was really stoked to talk with her because I found out that she's really into health. She's really into finances, but she's a principal at a school, and I find it really strange. Oh, we got a niner, we got an eighter. Awesome. Everyone can hear me, but we cannot see her, so I'm going to try and add her in. But I think it very, very interesting. Someone that is so into health, so into finances, and taking control their life, but then they're a school principal. And if any of y'all follow me at all, you know that I think school is a super jacked up situation. Man, I can't tell what's more jacked up on this planet. If it's the fucking religions out there, or if it's the school that's pumping our kids full of bullshit rules that they can never ever win the of failure. Think about it. Go to school, get a good job, prepare for retirement. Not to mention, it's like, okay, go to college, pay for an overpriced, terrible amount in tuition, finance that at 5 to 7% to some motherfucker that doesn't even care about you. Now all of a sudden, like, you're starting your working career off with mass amount of debts, and reverse that for the last 15, 20 years of school, whatever it's been. You're probably 22 years of age now, graduating, and they look at it like, what the heck? We didn't teach you financial management, financial freedom. We didn't teach you relationships. We didn't teach you health. We didn't teach you how to have a great marriage. Like, the shit that really matters on this planet isn't being taught until the time, like, we have to go learn it ourselves. Like, it's ridiculous. So I went off on that rant. That's what I want to talk about with her about tonight. But it seems like we're getting troubles getting her on. So if you like my rant, at least click that share button so we could get the message out that the system is messed up. But that's not the problem. The problem is we are not creating enough solutions out there. Like, the solution is you, and you are the problem. Like, that makes sense? So, like, I'm the problem in my life, but I'm also the solution for whatever it is I want to create, okay? If that's a financial success, if that's a physical success, if that's a health success, if that's a mental success, if that's a spiritual success, if that's a relationship success, like, you got to create your own reality, okay? Like, whatever it is you want, whatever it is you can picture, whatever you can imagine, if you can imagine it, if you can put it in your head, you can put it into your hand. Like, that's the reality of it. Okay, so I don't think she's coming on tonight, guys. Believe it or not, I tried to get you to join, Claudia. I don't know what is going on with your internet. I'm going to try you one more time because we got some people that are just wanting to know the truth, wanting to know the answers. So put yes below. Oh, there she is.
Dude, I don't know what's that.
Dude, I tell you what it is. I saw this earlier. Okay, you open for some criticism? Sure. Cool. So I saw you on your other live stream with Leah earlier today, and it was kind of slow as well. I think it might be your internet connection. So a couple things you could try is either just turn your internet off and run on your 4G, or turn it on airplane mode and just run on your Wi-Fi, one of the both. What happens is it's trying to connect to both of them. You got to do one or the other.
Okay.
So it's up to you, but I can hear you fine. Can you guys hear? It said they lost you. When you popped on, it said they lost you.
See, that doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense to me either, because I don't even know how the internet works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just turn it on. Like, who knows how it works?
So I'm here, but they're gone?
Can we do live without saying, like, Patricia, like, you probably should just unfucking follow me right now. Like, no offense. Like, I fucking swear every 3 to 5 words. Sorry. That's how I am. Can you hear me, Claudia?
I can hear you.
We're golden.
No, again, like, I know you, I was funny. I was going to joke with you the other night because we were talking about, and they can hear us both. That's great. We were talking about, I know your lives. I love your lives. I love watching them. But definitely, you know, I do have a network of people that, you know, I work with parents hand in hand. And so,
I probably just swore at one of them. I'm so sorry.
So, you know, I feel like my role as a principal is to walk hand in hand with families, because
Totally.
Education is all of our jobs.
Yeah.
And we're raising kids to be successful humans. It's not just about teaching them reading or math, you know, it's
totally.
About
so
leadership.
Here's a question. How come then our school system, Claudia, you're a principal, and I love that you're on this path of health and financial success. Why are we not teaching health, and why are we not teaching financial freedom in our school systems?
Good question. You know, the curriculum, when you look at what's happening inside of schools, first of all, you know, there's something to be said for the fact that, you know, money, our schools are funded by tax dollars, and there's only so much to go around.
Yeah.
And, you know, the difference, you know, to me is not like, we do teach nutrition. So I don't know if why your kids aren't getting nutrition education.
Dude,
but we certainly teach it at my
check
school.
this out. Check this out. So I just went to, my daughter does dance, right? So we had her dance competition, and you might have seen me post this. It's a local high school here, right? One of the largest local high schools, and they're selling Kickstarters or Mountain Dews or whatever these energy. Why are they in our schools? Like,
it's absolutely not okay. You know, those products and those companies partner with schools, kick back to schools. You know, in California, where I'm at, you know, we have very strict health and wellness policies. And, you know, like the school I taught in, we actually had a farm to school partnership where our local farms are partnering with our schools to bring fresh produce to support our lunch programs. So there's a lot of amazing things happening. So you can't blanket statement on everywhere, but if you see something like that in the school that you're attending, you know, you're going to have to, you know, gather the troops and demand it's taken out. And it's through that action, you know, that policies get created, because they should not, you know, vending machines that sell junk should not be what we're promoting. And
I never see them serving a bunch of spinach at school.
Well, they have it at mine. So again,
dude, maybe we need to move to California. It's Utah's system that must be jacked.
We're all crazy out here, crazy liberals.
Let's take a poll, right? If you guys are watching, does your school system allow, like, what are those energy drinks, Mountain Dews, Kickstarters, Red Bull? Are those sold in your schools, or is it not sold there? Is it not okay? And are your schools promoting, not just Utah, Sterling says, are they promoting powerful greens and fruits and vegetables inside of your children? Like, I'd love to see you guys post below what you observe into your system.
I can certainly say that our school district and even our schools in California it's not going to be a blanket. It's not going to be blanket anywhere. You're not going to get like, that's how it is everywhere. And, you know, our community wants that. And so when you have a loud community saying that this is what we want, and you go to the Board of Education. Now, here's the other question. How many parents are going to the Board of Education meetings? How many people are making their voice heard? How many people are spending that, you know, energy to do that? Because that's where the change happens, is at the Board of Education, where the policies are written. That's where the health and wellness policy is written. So you have to exercise your right to voice that at that larger level to make that change happen. I'm fortunate. I feel fortunate to be in a system where I feel like our district, and again, the district next to me could be totally different. The Northern California, whatever, it's different everywhere. It's not blanket. But you know, I got to be part of the farm to school program in our kindergarten class. When I was teaching kindergarten, we had a person that would go out to the local farmer market every week. She would come to school with a different, like, exotic vegetable or fruit. Like, most kids have had apples. Most kids have had strawberries. Yeah. But she would bring persimmons. She would bring, you know, things that she knew kids weren't trying on their own so much. and we would do a whole lesson on, you know, the nutritional content of it. We would do a science lesson on it, on like what part of the plant is it, and then we'd do a tasting of it, and then we'd come up with recipes we'd send home, and that was a huge program that you know, it's funny because for the longest time, my own kids, we have an avocado tree in our backyard, and when my kids were little, you know, I'm like, free baby food, you know, mash it up. My kids wouldn't eat it. They wouldn't touch it. They'd spit it out. You know, you have little kids, you know, when they don't like something when they're like under 2, it's just coming back out.
Everywhere.
So you try to mask it, you know, with something sweet or whatever. But when my daughter was in kindergarten, she was in that she was getting that, you know, weekly lesson. And she came home one day, was like, Mom, let's make guacamole. And I was like, what? Different person. She took that message from her teacher. Yeah. She wouldn't take that message from me as a parent.
My biggest question, Claudia, is, did that day she came home saying, let's make guacamole, did it happen to be the 5th of May?
No, I don't know.
Cinco de Mayo, right? It had to be.
No,
it only makes sense.
It wasn't the 5th of May. But, you know, the thing is, though, too, Colton, is, you know, we as parents, we drive what goes into our body, their bodies. We buy the food that they eat. We have to be the leaders on what we're teaching our kids to eat. Because I can tell you this, through all the education and the things we have going on at our school, and we do weekly wellness messages, the kids actually write the wellness messages and make videos, green screen videos that we play every week. All the things that we layer in for nutrition and health and wellness, if a kid shows up and they open their lunch and they're sitting, one kid will be sitting there with their beautiful lunch, tomatoes, some rolled up turkey, a little bit of cheese, you know, a couple of tangerines, all healthy, all natural food, and can be sitting right next to a kid, and it has nothing to do with socioeconomic status. I can tell you that much right now. It has nothing to do with price. They're sitting there with a bag of Pringles, chips, Cola, Rice Krispie treat.
It's crap. So what you're saying, it's got to start at home, right?
It's got to start at home, but the school should be reinforcing that message. Totally. It should be a unified front. I don't say that it's not the schools. The school should not be selling soda. No. The school should be, you know, having a health and wellness policy that's not just for the school, but for the district, that, you know, you're really promoting that. And together, you know, kids are getting that message reinforced. But, you know, if you have one without the other, you know, it doesn't stick. And truly, you know, I feel as a parent, you know, my daughter was a natural vegetable and fruit lover. Like, I don't know about your kids, if you noticed the differences in that, but my daughter loved vegetables from very early on. When my boys came along, my twin boys, it was like I was giving them the worst thing ever. And I can see where a parent might give up the battle. That daily battle to eat your carrots.
It's hard. It's hard.
They'll wear you down. But the thing is, if you stick with it, and again, it doesn't have to be that I didn't eat a lot of things until I got older. I had a narrow palate. It's okay to have a narrow palate. It's okay if there's only 2 or 3 vegetables.
Let's stop right there. So let's talk about this. What are maybe 2 to 5 steps that parents we can do to make sure that we're getting that stuff in our children and teaching them about that? Like, what would you say are maybe 2 to 5 steps?
I would say, first of all, the simplest thing you can do is don't buy things with labels. Make sure that a lot of when you go to the grocery store, you know, or you go to the farmer's market, that you're going for how simple is it to peel a banana? How simple is it to a bag of nuts? I mean, simple, raw is the fastest snack ever. I mean, I can prepare a meal for my kids very quick. Now, it's not fancy. It's not like, you know, all gourmet recipe, but it's fresh and it's fast and it's natural. So I think the biggest thing is I think you got to bring your kids into the game when they're old enough to, like, you know, that they can give you their opinions, but bring them into the process and say, talk to them about why you're eating the things you eat. to them about what each thing does for them. We always talk about, hey, this, you know, this is what's going to feed your muscle. This is what's giving you, you know, the vitamins you need for this and that. You talk about it, and then let them have some power in making decisions. I think that's huge for kids. If they're only being like, you have to, you know, let them put out a menu of options you would be comfortable with, fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and snacks, and let them decide what their favorites are. And then, you know, let them have just those. Don't force them into the wide variety if their palate is not there yet, but give them some control in what they're choosing. And again, it's as simple as choosing. For kids, you know, they don't need anything fancy. You know, they can you know, have you know, some rolled up turkey, some rolled up ham, a little bit of a fruit that's raw, a little bit of a vegetable that's raw, maybe some dairy. You know, I mean, people have different opinions of dairy and things, but I think, again, if you're balancing with a plant-based diet with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, as long as it's natural and it's whole food, you know, it's, and then they can still have the treat. I mean, I don't know about you, but I still give my kids.
There, like, you and I know, like, I didn't used to know this. You didn't used to know this. Like, let's put a bunch of raw food in our body. You know, I do 1.5 pounds of power greens a day. Yeah. But I didn't used to know that. So, like, we think, like, hey, let's give these options to our kids, but how do we get the message out to the parents, right? It goes beyond the public school system now. It goes to kind of what you're doing, right? Like, you're educating people.
Yes.
How do you get healthy?
And unfortunately, you know, they don't have commercials for oranges, and they don't have commercials for, you know, I mean, the commercials, the things on TV and the things that are, you know, advertised and pushed in your face, like Monster Energy drink. I went to Mammoth Mountain with my kids and my family. I was so aware of everywhere I saw Monster, 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 Monster. No wonder a teenage kid that's snowboarding today grabs a Monster.
Hold on. And I don't know if this is one of your followers, so I apologize ahead of time, but Tanea said, not always affordable to buy healthy, unfortunately. I do agree we could do a better job at picking the right things to feed the future. I think that is a fucking bullshit story. It's actually less money to eat healthy. Like, when you lay it all out, I mean, okay, by the time you buy the produce, it's already going to be cheaper than if you buy that crappy food. And then you don't have to go to the doctor because you're a lot healthier. It's going to save you going to all those doctor visits, buying all those prescriptions, dealing with all the stuff, the co-payments and crap. Like, what's your take on that? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't
think you're wrong. I think it's the way we've been, the information, the fast food industry has convinced people that it's faster and cheaper to go fast food, to go processed. Again, there's nothing faster than a tangerine, and a tangerine is less expensive than a fruit roll-up.
Andrew Smara asked, does this dude even have kids? I guess he's referring to me. I have two beautiful daughters, 5 and 2, fantastic, and I blend up smoothies and I pump it into them with a freaking needle into their arm because they're getting the green drink. You know what I mean?
Right. And, you know, my kids are loving the smoothies Ben makes for us with, you know, the Vitamix. And, again, like, we still give our kids treats. I mean, Halloween comes around, Easter comes around. We're not denying our kids all things that we know are treats. I mean, they'll have the candy, they'll have the cake sometimes, but it's about what are you doing as a daily habit and routine. And then you can I don't feel guilty giving my kids an opportunity to have something sweet here and there, because I know that 90% of the time their body's getting what they want. Another thing to talk about is breakfast. Okay, like, breakfast for kids. Working with kids over 16 years, I can tell you that there's a lot of times kids are not having breakfast because everybody's fast. And, you know, again, you know, I don't know how we get the message out. I don't know. It's not my kid. You know, all we can do is inform and inspire people. But if people are going to say, like, BS or not, you know, whatever, you know, we can't, that's not going to affect me or my kids or your kids, right? It's not everybody's going to buy that, and that's fine. But
do you know what? One thing that I realized a few years ago, believe it or not, I realized I am not Jesus Christ. It's not my job to save everyone, right?
Right.
But it is my job to be a parent to my children and teach them the best that I know. And that's, I mean, we learn from modeling, right? It's up to us to be the example for ourselves, for our family, for other people, right? So it sounds like you do several things to model to them, right? Like, what else are you doing to model to them with your health?
Well, we eat healthy food. Again, it's not like we deny our kids the same things that other kids have. It's just we make sure that they're majority getting good stuff. That's how we treat our own bodies as well. And we exercise together. You know, we go hiking together. We go biking together. We go on runs together. We, you know, we'll have, like, you know, we do all kinds of exercise, surfing, biking. My husband does CrossFit. I mean, skateboarding. I mean, they love it all. They love it all. And
So
we are active together.
You get active with them. Is that what you're saying? You're just getting active. You're getting out.
Yeah, we're just getting active together as a family. That's how we like spending our time together. That's how my kids need to spend their time, because they're balls of energy.
Right? It's always like 9:45 at night when their energy turns up into like 6th gear, right? Like, it just is crazy how little kids work. So do me a favor. If you guys think that eating healthy is too expensive and that's why you don't do it, put yes in the comments. If you think it is very affordable, put that no, it's not too expensive, just so I know. I'd love to get some feedback on that. And do me a favor, click that share button so that we can, I think this is a topic worth having with a lot of people. Like, how do we have health in our life? How do we actually teach that to our children? And I think that that's really, really important.
Right. And it's important to me, and I know it's important to you. And that's what it does come down to. You know, our actions reflect what's important to us. And again, but we are in a society that has been like, you know, we've gone from making our, you know, like my grandmother grew most of her own food. You know, she lived on a farm in Europe. She taught my mother to cook. Now, I was lucky when I grew up that my mom was probably still on the lower percentage of side that didn't have a microwave and cooked from scratch. So I grew up with whole food, you know, and my parents had their own business. They were very busy people, but again, like, we rarely went to get fast food. It was, my mom viewed it as more expensive to even go to McDonald's than it was to cook from scratch and to make that last over a couple days. So our mindsets have shifted based on our own experiences and things. But again, it's if you value that, you know, you have to put, you know, you have to seek that out. And
I think it's important too, like, to everyone watching, whether it's live or recorded, was there a point that you didn't take your health and nutrition as serious as you do today?
Me?
Yeah.
You know, like I said, because I grew up with parents that were giving me whole food. You know, I'm not one of those people that did a lot of different weird stuff. I always just ate raw, good food. You know, there was time periods in my life, like my freshman 15, where I, you know, got a hold of like the card where you can just, you know, go through as many times as you want. And there were definitely some periods like that, but I've never been a person that, I never went on diets. I never did any of that. I always just ate probably mostly good food. But did I have candy? Yeah. Did I have certain things? Yeah. But have I taken it more seriously over time? Absolutely. Because as you get older, right? I don't know how old you are, Colton. How old are you?
32.
Okay. So I'm 43, and you know, there's something that happens, you know, for
and
me,
this whole time I thought you were only 23. You've been tricking me, Claudia.
Right. But you know, there's something that as you age, things do get a little harder. You know, life does get a little more complicated, and that's kind of what we're talking about tonight, because we're balancing our responsibilities to be financially providing for our families, but we're also wanting to spend time with our family, and we're also wanting to take care of ourselves. And it's a tricky balance. There's no doubt it's a tricky balance. But as I was getting my master's degree at night, on top of teaching, on top of parenting, I was reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
Yeah.
And we got to the 7th habit where they talked about that you have to sharpen the saw, you have to take care of yourself. And I had a little bit of an aha moment that I had realized that through the birth of my children and through my career, going after my career, that I had neglected myself to the level at which I knew I had to take care of myself. If I wanted to continue into my 50s and 60s and 70s, I want to be fit and 50, fit and 60, fit and 70 and 80. I don't want to slowly get taken down by, all that. Like, and so
I had
that moment.
liver disease.
I had that moment where I was like, I'm going to pay extra attention to it now, because I know that I do not want to find myself, 10 years later going like, I wish I would have taken better care of myself.
Right. 10 years down the road is too late. Right. It's too late.
Yeah.
How many people do you see? And I've seen it happen in like younger and younger with clients that they're just really obese, right? For whatever reason. Right. And I'm now seeing the people in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s that are really just unhealthy. They're dying from strokes. They're dying from tumors.
Right.
They're dying from cancer, right? And it's because they didn't start 20, 30 years ago.
Absolutely. It's a lifestyle, and you have to put value on it. And again, like, you can be an entrepreneur and you can be a millionaire, but if you have a heart attack at 50, what's the point? Right. So, it really is like you have to 10x all those areas of your life, because then, you don't want to, you're bringing in, you got the financial success, but then you've killed yourself in the meantime, because it's a process that you might not be realizing is happening. Another thing I want to point out, Colton, is what was really eye-opening to me one time was that my son broke his arm hopping on my bed and, goofing off when they were supposed to be not. And all of a sudden we're in the ER. I don't know if you've had that experience yet as a parent that, here we are, we're at the ER. And my husband went to the ER. I stayed with the other kids, so I didn't get to go see my son until the next day after he was recovering from surgery. And the first thing that the nurse said to us was, she was like, listen, I just want to first say that it's so refreshing to see a child who's the right body mass for their age. And I was like, what? Like, that's the first thing you want to tell me? Like, I'm coming to see my son who's had surgery. And she just felt compelled to share that with me. And I said, really, that sticks out to you? And she said, yes. She's like, unfortunately, a lot of the children we see are not, healthy. They're not fit. They're not where they should be as a kid who's naturally active and naturally doing things. And she was like, it's really refreshing to see that. And I guess when they had asked him, because, you can't have surgery if you've eaten food. So then she said, when we were asking him what he had for dinner, he said chicken, and then we said chicken nuggets, and he was like, no, like roasted chicken. And then she's like, well, what else? And he's like, asparagus. And then he's like, they were like, what else? And he's like, sweet potatoes. And they're like, damn, you ate better than we did. And, again, they thought that was such a unique, rare thing that I was thinking, wow, like, really, that's, we're not in the majority. This is not like normal. Like, and it kind of reflects what you were saying. Like, there is an epidemic going on, Colton, and, I am passionate about doing what I can, within my capacity, in my role as a principal, in my role to be able to advocate at a district level, in my role to be able to advocate, for the kids that are in my circle of influence. And most importantly, my own children.
So let me hold you up for 1 second. So first of all, if Claudia is delivering some massive value, give me some reactions so we can see the messages being received. If we can't see reactions or enough comments, like, we don't know, like, we're probably delivering some wasteful stuff. But I wanted you to answer this question. And you might know Andrew Gavin. He said, my wife struggles with her schedule. She's a high school principal, and she struggles with her fitness in life. You're principal, you're not high school, right? Though you're elementary?
Yeah.
Right. So what is some advice you could give to Andrew and Andrew's wife on how she can have, that busy schedule as a principal, but still dominate her health or fitness in her life?
Yeah. Gosh, for me, I understand, because I understand, like, you know, and all of our jobs can be stressful, right? There's stress comes along with a lot of jobs, and being a principal, like it can be like, it's just nonstop, and you're like, it's like, there's no like set schedule. Days can be crazy. They can be long. It can be emotionally draining. It can be physically draining. So I get, that's why there's summer break. It's more for the adults, I think, than the kids. Because it can be very taxing, as many jobs are. Like, I've met a lot of nighttime ER nurses, police, firefighters, people that are in, you know, careers that their companies expect them to be there 12 hours. They're sitting at a desk, you know, all the factors that come into play. Like, yeah, of course, if we were all like, our day was just all ours, and we could say, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time, I'm going to work out at this time, I'm going to, you know, there are factors that make it difficult. And for me, you know, a big part of my change came about through the supplement I found. And you know, I don't want to say that's the only route, because it's not. But for me, what happened was, where I was fueling on caffeine and fueling and then refueling on caffeine again in the afternoon, I replaced that with a supplement that had, you know, that fed my body extra things that it needed that I wasn't always getting, even though I ate right, and probiotics and time release support that took away my need for the caffeine beverages and kept my body going. And I felt a difference. And it was these last 2 years, or the first 2 years of my life, that I go through the school day each day, and I come home like still feeling wonderful, that I'm not feeling burnout, that I'm not feeling exhausted, that I'm sleeping better, that I'm like, my digestion is better, my absorption of nutrients is better. And that led to some more amplification of where I was like wanting to take my fitness and other things even further than it was. And that's what our products have done for people, is given them that base that made a difference in the way they felt and functioned, to make it easier. But it still comes down to, you know, one tip I know for being a principal is, because we don't get to just sit down and have lunch, you know, you have to be packing massive healthy snacks. You know, you need to come loaded with healthy, fast snacks that you can eat and run, because that's what your day looks like. It's not sitting at a desk. It's getting called here, getting called there. All of a sudden, you know, you're in a lot of different places. And sometimes the challenge can be that you don't eat enough. So you have to be, I'd say one big tip is packing healthy snacks and just making sure you're continuously giving yourself healthy stuff. Now, I know that sometimes tiredness and exhaustion are a big factor for people. It was for me for a long time, because when I came home from work, I made it through my day, but when I came home from work, it was hard for me to be consistent with exercise, because I was beat. And so if that's what this person's noticing and feeling, this, they're exhausted and tired and stuff, you know, definitely, you know, you can drop a comment in the feed, and I definitely can reach out and share some more about the supplement that I use.
Let's do this. If anyone has any interest to learn more about Claudia and the product that her and her husband use, send her a message. I think it's really important you get the education, get the information. And one of the things that I want to add in, because Tanea said, glad we're talking about this topic, what are your thoughts on delivery food services like Blue Apron? And then she also said, just sometimes come down to being just too busy with being a single parent, right? I do want to point out one thing that Claudia, and she didn't say it straight out, but you can tell, is that she made the choice that her health was more important than being unhealthy. Like, that's the first step.
Right.
You have to make the choice that I choose to live a level 10 life with my health. Right. And one of the inexpensive ways I will share is I do it. You can reach out to me in a message, is you can get a blender for like $90 called the emulsifier, or if you want to go big and get the Vitamix, it's like $400 plus. But get one of those. You can go to Costco and buy a 1.5 pound of Power Greens, put it into the blender with a bunch of fruit, pineapples, mangoes, strawberries, whatever you want, with a half a cup of flax seeds, quarter cup of chia seeds, blend it up, and drink it with 200 ounces of water throughout the day. That will keep you plenty full. And plus, you don't have to worry. It takes 15 minutes to prep it. You can do it at night before bed or in the morning when you wake up, and it lasts you all day long, no matter what your schedule is. So that's a quick way. What do you think about this Blue Apron thing? I've never heard of it, Claudia.
Well, I think it's just one of the, you know, there's a lot of companies now that are providing like kind of meal prep for you. you know, so instead of like you meal prepping yourself, you know, they're providing you meals, healthy meals that are already in, you know, individual servings. And whether you're buying that locally from somewhere or you're using a company, you know, again, if that's healthier than, you know, grabbing the fast bad stuff, you know, again, it's about, you know, you always want to weigh the options. Like, is this a better or is this better? You know, go with whatever's better. You're not going to, you know, a lot of times when people want change too, it's like you can't attack everything at once. Pick one thing that you're going to do different. Pick one thing that you're going to change.
Yeah.
And that, you know, you don't have to, you know, do everything at once. And that's a big part of if you are sitting there going like, I want change, but, you know, I got to think of like one thing that you can do different. Here's another thing that I did different, you know, is really water, you know, hydration, you know, skip the drinks, you know, skip the like Snapples and the Gatorades and even the juices, you know, not the fresh press like you're talking about, but like the stuff that you just buy.
Yeah.
And just drink water. If you want flavor in it, add, you know, add some fresh fruit to that water to make it flavorful. But just even making that one change,
yep.
You know, for what I do and what I share, most, you know, the people that come onto our products eliminate the caffeine drinks and they go pure water. And so just that change alone of adding in, you know, half your weight in ounces a day of water is huge, can make a huge change. And that's just one change. So, you know, it's about finding one thing that you can do. And once you get that under your belt, find another thing you can do and get that under your belt, because it really truly is about what you can stick with. You've got to make it simple and easy, because if the reason you're not doing it,
you have to enjoy the taste. If you don't, like if you made a smoothie and didn't put enough fruit in it so it tastes disgusting, you're not going to drink it, right? So
no.
you got to make it taste good enough.
Right. And you can. I mean, my husband, you know, you'd be, you know, like, and I'm sure you know too, you can put in so many greens and you put in some certain fruits and you don't taste the greens.
Yep.
And that's, you know, sucking it down, and you're getting way more raw veggies and fruits in your system than you could if you were actually trying to eat it. And that is the great thing about juicing. You know, it's again, a powerful way, one thing that you can do that impact, you know, the change. And there's lots of things out there, you know, but it's a matter of, you know, if it's because you're so busy that you can't make a change, you know, you got to stop, you know, and because you don't want to find yourself, you know,
dead. You don't want to find yourself dead. That's the reality of it. Let's call a spade a spade. Like you're getting up dead if you just don't change it, right? I think I want to point out, Andrew said, when you see a Blue Apron meal versus what you usually eat, all of a sudden you realize how easy it is to overeat. Portion control is huge, and America is failing on that. And I think that's important to understand is America is failing because of what they're putting in. If you put in processed foods and caffeine and soda and donuts and all this stuff, I mean, the amount of calories that fill up your stomach versus if you put 500 calories of powerful greens in, those are going to fill up your entire stomach. You're not going to be hungry. You're hungry because you're not eating real nutrients.
Right. And that's it right there. You're nutritionally depleted. And, you know, it's not about calories, because you know, 100 calories of Pop-Tarts and 100 calories of avocado are two totally different things. And that, you know, it's not about the calories. It's about the nutritional content, the nutritional density. And there's a lot of great videos about that people can YouTube that show what happens in the system while you're putting in these you're putting in calories, but you're not putting in nutrient dense things, and your body still thinks it's hungry and you eat more. And so what you said too about portion size, you know, I'm just doing a live video with Leah, and she does a lot to talk about that. And we're starting an 8-week health and wellness group to give some people some tips like this, what we're doing right now. And one of the things she talks about is portion size and what's appropriate, because you're right. And again, maybe because when you go out to a restaurant, you're getting like, most restaurants serve you enough food for two, you know, or 2 meals. 2 people or 2 meals. And maybe because they're trying to make it look like you're getting value, you know, when you're spending money, and they want to make, you know, they pile it on, you know, it's way, your body should be having, you know, frequent smaller meals as well. So if you're awake for a certain number of hours, if you divide that by 3, that's how many times a day you should be eating. So if you're awake for 15 hours, you should be eating 5 times a day. Don't skip meals. Don't skip breakfast. Your metabolism wants to hold on to stuff when you're not feeding your body. So it's about giving your body simple and fast, nutritious food frequently throughout the day. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's not going to be fancy. It's not going to be fancy. But again, if you just focus on some healthy snacks and avoid, things that come in packages as like the main thing that you're eating, you can do a lot with just that.
What about this? David asked, any advice on protein shakes? What's your take on protein shakes?
Well, protein, extra protein, protein is important, right? And we want to find ways to get extra protein, because protein builds muscles. And it's, again, a lot of people like to supplement with some extra protein. So the shake I use is by Thrive, which is not only a protein though, it's a probiotic. And probiotics do a lot for your gut health. And here's another thing is, no matter how good you eat, there's toxins, everywhere. And our bodies, the gut bacteria in our bodies are not where they need to be. And healthy gut bacteria is connected to digestion, to weight management, to mood, to hormonal function, to stress levels, to mental clarity and focus, to energy, to sleep. Probiotics and having something that actually gives your body, and I'm not just talking yogurt, right? You need a high quality probiotic to build up that gut bacteria that is going to keep your system strong and absorbing nutrients correctly. And it's like, to me, it's like an engine of a car. Our digestive system is like the engine. And even if you're a Ferrari, your Ferrari needs a tune-up sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Your stomach.
You're not gonna put the low grade gasoline in your Ferrari.
No. And so your digestive system needs to be the core of your body. And so a high quality probiotic is important, and ours is also a protein. So that's what I use. And to me, I can share more about Thrive at some point, but Thrive is a nutritional supplement that supports a gamut of aspects of your health and your wellness. It's not just you could try to piece together a whole bunch of stuff, but what Thrive does is brings it all together into 3 simple steps, and the quality and the absorption rate leave you feeling and seeing the difference. And that's really what the design.
I think it's important too, Claudia, that people understand, like, most problems start in your gut because the amount of toxins that are being built up into that. Think of it as a sewage system. And when you eat processed foods, when you eat too much meat, when you eat these things that are getting stuck in your belly, it's in there fermenting and growing a disgusting, you're growing a sewer in your stomach, right? Versus if you get the right bacteria, you get the right powerful greens in you, it'll flush that stuff out. And you'll preserve energy because you're not wasting energy trying to clean out those toxins, right? You're going to put more oxygen into your blood. You're going to put more oxygen into your organs. You're just going to feel more alive. And if you want more happiness, eat better. Like, put more nutrients in your body. You will.
Totally. The way our hormones function, and is connected to our gut health. It's all connected. Our bodies were designed to be supported by nature and not processed stuff. And it's not about calories. It's not about weight loss. It's not about, those things. I think a lot of times too in our society, we're focusing on a scale, which says nothing about your cardiovascular health, your digestive health, your nutritional, your numbers when you go get your blood work done, your mental health, your stress levels, your fitness. It has nothing to do with that. It's just a number of how much you're pulling down to the earth. But again, muscle weight, and weight from fat are, my husband lost fat and gained muscle, but the scale says he gained weight. but he gained muscle, you know, and
One thing
lost fat.
Just as a man that I'd like to share is, like, if you want to measure something, measure your waist, right? Like how your clothes are fitting, in my experience, is the best way to measure your progress.
Right. Exactly. So throw out the scale and decide based on your pants, but also obviously, you know, your ability to run a mile, your ability to do pull-ups, your ability to do push-ups, you know, that's a measure of your fitness, you know, and even, you know, it's way beyond what, you know, you just see, you know, it's how you perform, how your heart performs, how your digestive system performs, how your muscles perform. And, you know, that's, again, you know, there's a lot of times, you know, it's about losing weight. Now, you know, our products make people lose weight, but it's not because it's not a weight loss product. It's nutritional rebalancing and lifestyle changes that lead to the fat loss and the muscle gain.
So let's kind of fast forward, because we took a lot of time on this topic. I want to really quickly, before we wrap up here in a minute, touch on two topics. One is finances, and number two is, with the busy lifestyle, how do you actually be with your family? Like, we were talking about this the other day. It's like running from like dance to tumbling to preschool to, you know, your kids got sports, like, and you just got a chance to like sit down and just slow down. Like, how do you spend time with them when you're so freaking busy?
Good question. And, you know, the thing is, you know, we've always, when we had kids, you know, we had a lot of fun before kids. We did a lot of traveling. We met in the mountains of Colorado. We traveled Central America. We had a lot of fun. When we were ready, when we had our kids, we were ready to focus all of our attention on them. As a teacher, I did have a nice flexible schedule, right? Like, I got off school, you know, with my kids. My husband had his own business, a service business that he was able to send out his guys versus doing a lot of his work himself. And we prioritized time with our children first. If that meant a little less finances coming in the beginning, that was fine, because we put the value on our time. Now, the thing is, it's a challenge in our society these days. You know, there was a time when a family could function on one income, one reasonable, solid job. And in the way things have gotten, you can't, especially in California, you know, like, you know, real estate, that's your game, right? I mean, a starter house here is like $500,000, and that's a house that needs work.
And you know, plus, California charges so much in state taxes, right? Like, it's one of the highest tax states on income, right?
Good question. I don't know. I've lived in Texas, Colorado, and Pennsylvania. Our property taxes are not, because, I mean, in Pennsylvania, the property taxes were really high. So again, however it works out, it works out. I live here because I value being outdoors. And I moved here for that reason. I moved here because I wanted to live in a place where I could get outside and be active with my kids. That was the only reason I came to California. I didn't know anybody here. I didn't come here for a job. I came here because I valued wanting to be in a place where I could feel like I was in nature. And, you know, first that was Colorado. Then it ended up, I went to Austin, Texas for a while, and I had taken some road trips out here and fell in love with being out here. But back to like the finance thing, you know, everybody, you have to work as a team, right? And you have to prioritize and really be thoughtful on how you're going to attack things. If you're just running around, like, you know, you waste time. And for us, you know, and this is not the case for everyone, but like we prioritize time with our kids, and we were okay with less material possessions. You know, we were okay with that. We were okay with, we wanted the time. We wanted the time with our children. But as I came across this product, and again, like, it was really just helped us first with our health and our wellness. And I tell you, I had to be convinced to join the company because, again, I was not a person that was looking for an opportunity to build a residual income. But I found myself so passionate about telling people about the product that, because it was no cost to join the company, the person convinced me, like, hey, you're already doing it. You're already sharing it. That's what it is. And I was like, okay, well, that's what it is. Then, okay, I'll switch. And through my free time, I put down the I eliminated some things, Colton, right? I eliminated TV. Okay. Shut that off long ago. I eliminated, I just became very efficient with my time, but I made sure that number one, my time with my kids is still there. But what was very beneficial for us was because I was able to build this residual income, and it grew and it grew and it grew. My husband was able to sell his business, and he's full time with our kids. So right now I'm running 2 jobs, but our kids are getting more of both of us, if that makes any sense.
Totally. That's super awesome.
And so my goal is ultimately time freedom, right? That's why many of us are entrepreneurs. It's to find the time freedom, not just the financial freedom, but for some of us, what that means is not a Lamborghini and a yacht. It means that I have the freedom to be where I want, when I want, with the people I want to be with. And that's what matters to us.
Let me hold on one sec. Let me just point that out. Is number one is identify your priorities. Like that's what she's saying. Is identify
as a team,
where my value is with your team, your family. Number 2 is schedule those priorities, right? So now all of a sudden we value time with our children, and we value it more important than TV, right? Like that's a simple way in layman's term to put what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah. Like you can kind of edit your life, like look at it, like where are you wasting some time? And we all have the same amount of time. And again, like you have to everybody's situation is different. I have friends that, when they became mothers, their husbands had a great career that they were able to be home full time with their kids right off the get-go. Some people are single parents, and that's not even an option. So people have all different situations that they have to work around, but you have to stay focused on, what you can do and what you can eliminate, and, do your best with that. Now, again, it's like I found myself into the entrepreneur world, and what I love about that most is that this is the first time I've discovered the power of, being able to do a business from my phone. I do my business from the beach. We're cloud-based. So like I'm on the weekend when I'm not at school, I can be reaching out and talking to people, and sending people information from the beach, from the hike. And so that's what I do. Eventually, the goal will be to be completely, have that as that we're both home full time. And that, that's not ever something I thought was possible, Colton. Like I never thought that was possible.
I didn't either.
I didn't realize.
Didn't make sense. Like me growing up, I thought I was going to work a 9-to-5 job for one of the power company or utility company and then retire. Right.
Yeah.
I am on pace, and I don't say this to like brag by any means, but share what can really happen is I'm on pace to earn more in the month of June than I thought was even possible to earn in an entire year growing up. Right. That blows my mind. I would have never thought, and it happened through passive and residual income and then leverage and creating massive value. There's a lot of opportunities.
There's a lot of opportunities for people that are passionate, committed. There's no fast. There's no get rich quick thing going on. No. It takes effort and work, but there are many paths to time freedom and financial freedom, and you have to be open to, if someone's telling you about something, you can't be in the victim mode is what you can't be. No. You can't be like, I can't. It's too, I can't because
I don't know how, I don't have money. No one has taught me this. Like, even the fact that you don't know is still an excuse. Right? Your mortal experience, take some responsibility for it.
Google it.
Seriously.
I mean, my daughter, like, I came in her room one night. She had gotten out these knitting needles and had crocheted a turtle. And I was like, did you make that? She's like, yeah. I'm like, how'd you do that? She's like, a YouTube video. I was like,
that's cool.
Internet is access to learning. Yep. Internet is access to information, to people who can offer you information, it's all out there. But what are you keyword searching? What are you scrolling on social media?
Yep. What are you spending your time thinking about?
Are you getting sucked into the negative story about what's happening in politics? Are you getting sucked into what happened bad in the world today and feeling grumpy about it and complaining about it and wishing it was, different? And do you just sit there and cycle through the negative and play the victim? You got to bust out of that. You got to say, hey, I'm going to take control of what I can take control of. And you can't take control of everything at once. If you have big changes to make, focus on one thing and make a change, because it is up to you, right?
The next most important thing, like, what's the next most important thing for you to dominate in your life? For me personally, it's got to be health. I would say if you're not healthy, who cares how much time you have? Who cares how much finances you have? If you are dying, if you're not taking care of your health, then you've got a problem. A big problem.
And that's, I'm a true believer in that. And that's, again, like I'm sure you've seen it too. People that you love work their tails off at the expense of their health. And then all of a sudden, open heart surgery, or all of a sudden, it's not all of a sudden,
it just appears like out of the blue, right? Like,
no, it's not out of the blue, because it's a buildup, because and that's the thing is, when does that, some people find that, wake up call at some point, or again, some people are just about fine tuning, but you have to care about your health. Because like you said, it doesn't matter how much time you have if you can't walk up a staircase when you're 60. I don't want to be there. And I know that it's about what I'm doing now that will determine what I feel like and how I function. Now, again, right, anything can happen. It's not like I can prevent everything. We don't know when something tragic is going to happen, or if something goes on that you're not in control of, which, you can't. All you can do is do the best with what you know, and leave it up to the Lord above after that, but I'm going to do everything I can and know that I at least did everything I could. If something does come along, I won't be like, I should have been doing this. I wish I had been doing that.
Yeah. The worst thing that can happen is that you get to the end of your life and you say, I didn't become the person that I could have become. Like, that is the biggest tragedy that a person can experience. I didn't have the marriage I wanted. I didn't have the health I wanted. I didn't have the finances I wanted. I didn't have the life that I could have had because I wasted it away. So let's do this. Let's wrap it up. We've had a great conversation. Touch on David just said, but isn't it kind of sad that it takes a village to operate our society, and those people that are asleep at the wheel need them to do the mundane jobs? Or do you think it would be better if at all? I mean, we got 7.4 billion people on the planet. I think we're doing pretty fucking awesome for as big as we are as a planet. And I look at the way we are in our country. I am grateful to be a United States citizen, full of health, full of opportunity, full of a society that does care so much. That's part of the victim mentality that you were talking about, is like, we can start to focus on all the problems, or we can start to focus on the solutions that we have control over. Like, we have.
Yeah. We have even if you talk about, like, let's say just being vegan, for example, like that's one way that people might choose to be healthy. There are places in the world that people can't even make that choice. You can't, like, they have to survive off of what is there. And like it is a third world problem to feel like, that you can't, we have the choices. We have every opportunity here. We have every opportunity. And that's what I love. I mean, that's why people come here, and you have the opportunity. It's all there. And that's where
people don't choose to accept the opportunity. That to me is
right. Yeah. And, we're all learning. I always say too, like, hey, it's not like I know it all. It's not like you know it all. I'm just a person committed to constantly trying to better myself. I'm a person trying to help other people, to add value out into society, to put out positive, not negative. I'm constantly searching to up my game. I'm never going to feel like I've learned it all, or know it all, or don't have anything left to learn. that's the heart of being, you know, a learner, is that you are a lifelong learner and there's always room to grow. And I'm learning a lot from you when I watch your videos. I love watching your videos on finance, you know, learning more about like really, you know, understanding finance better and how I can like, how we can actually have like a better budget and things like that. You know, I look for my social media like to be things that fall into some categories. Either it's informing me, it's inspiring me, or it's making me laugh. I do like
it's entertaining.
You know, everybody likes to laugh. But you know, if I see, I'm eliminating the negative, so, and adding in the positive. And that's another awesome thing about social media, is you never have to complain about it because you can change it. You control what you see. You control what you hear. If you don't like someone's message, if that's not vibing, unfollow and friend some other people that you jive with, and it's in your control. You know, you get to design it. And so another powerful tool to learn from other people, you know, if you have a phone and an internet, you've got access to a lot of tools.
So if you guys want more information, the company she's involved with is Thrive. Reach out to her. It's helped her dominate her energy with a busy schedule of a parent, of a principal, of a spouse, right? So she's got a lot going on. Reach out to her. If you guys have any buyers and sellers in the state of Utah, buying or selling real estate, contact me or my sales team. If you want coaching and training for real estate sales, go to fearlessagent.com. And if you want to really learn how to create financial freedom in your life, reach out to me. We've got an 8-week course going on. It's called Financial Freedom Nation. We literally have 72 students in that course right now, and it is mind-blowing, the transformation that every walk of life is having financially, because it just has never been taught to them. So appreciate you.
Right.
Say
Thank
one
you,
more
Colton.
thing before we go off. Anything you want to say to them?
No, I just want to wish everybody an amazing week. You know, always focus on where you can make change. You know, eliminate the negative. If it's negative people or negative things, you know, cut it out, cut out the negative, add the positive. And no matter what path or passion you're on, you know, you control it. And, you know, love yourself enough to know that you deserve to live a life that you deserve. And if you're in the United States or anywhere, you know, you have access to being able to, you know, have what you don't have that you want, eliminate what you don't want in your life. And, you know, just, you know, life is too short to waste it. You know, I want to seize every moment of it. And so I know, Colton, that you're a person that's passionate about seizing every single day as well. So thanks so much for having me on.
Check it out. Live life to the fullest every free day. Life happens for us, not to us. Appreciate you, Claudia. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Colton.